Well, joining me now in the studio, I'm delighted to say, is Azerbaijan's ambassador to the UK, Elin Suleymanoglu. Elin, thank you very much for joining. It's great to have you in the studio. Pleasure to have a chance to chat to you, albeit in difficult circumstances. First of all, your reaction to the last 4 days' events.
Thank you very much, Aaron. It's good to be here, though, of course, it would be much better off under different circumstances, discussing something much more joyful. As we're still very shocked. It's the pain and grief of what happened in Turkey and in Syria is sharp, and it's very personal for all of us. Very often, people in Azerbaijan are unable to describe how they feel because it's so acute. The pain is so acute. And this is because, as you described, we are the same nation.
There's a close connection between the two. The people feel similar.
We're a family. We're a family. We've always been family. And you would see that through our conversation, and if you follow the news, how much people dedicate their own, whatever they have, to their brothers and sisters in Turkey today. So definitely we're all at loss of what happened and the loss of life, which is climbing, the numbers climbing every day. But Azerbaijan has done whatever is possible. In fact, the number you mentioned has increased today. It's 745 rescuers on the ground, one field hospital, and it's going on and on and on. I'm at loss to count the trucks and airplanes which are flying into Turkey with support.
And given that connection between the two countries, given that connection amongst the people of the two countries, perhaps no surprise that Azerbaijan stepped up immediately with offers to help, and the aid continues to come.
Of course, exactly. So right after the earthquake struck Turkey and Syria, President Aliyev spoke to the leadership of Turkey, and the decision was made to supply as much support as possible right away under his directions. And it keeps on happening now. For instance, state-owned company of Azerbaijan, Sokar, provides free fuel to all the emergency vehicles of Afad and other groups. They support the population with all kinds of heating supplies. The first vice president of Azerbaijan, the president of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, just instructed to send additional supplies of aid. And as the Foreign Minister Çavuşoğlu just mentioned, there's a daily and hourly coordination of what is needed. So we don't want to send anything that's not needed. So there's a conversation, it's a live conversation in which we ask continuously what is needed. And if we have that, we'll be happy to supply. And I am actually, I don't want to say, it's not something good to say at the moment, but I am proud that Azerbaijan is the #1 on the list of the countries which have provided supplies and at the top of the aid providers today.
And Azerbaijan as a country, no stranger to disasters, earthquakes of your own, of course, drought, flooding as well. So clearly empathy there with what the Turkish people are going through right now. What advice can you offer when it comes to rebuilding the country and recovering from such a devastating event, having experienced a large earthquake back in the year 2000?
Well, when there's acts of God like that, it's difficult to suggest something from our earthly experience. At the same time, I think all of these tests both for our future and for our past. So one thing we should learn is how to build stronger buildings, I guess, and this seismic reality should be taken into account. However, I have to tell you something. The damage which was caused to Gaziantep historical buildings and to Antakya historical buildings shows that this type of this earthquake was unprecedented. We're yet to learn exactly how strong it was, because things and buildings which lived and stood healthy for thousands of years have been destroyed. And there have been earthquakes in between. So it's actually much stronger than we can explain today.
Yeah, and there is an element of fortune or misfortune as to which buildings, even on the same street, may survive and may not. Elin, thank you very much indeed for the moment. Do stay with us, please. We'll come back to you in a moment, but we will continue our updates and our coverage. Just stand firm and we'll come back to you shortly.